There's a lot I want to talk about here after seeing what happened at TwitchCon last night with Imiru being assaulted by a rogue lunatic fan who just walked completely unimpeded past the line at her meet and greet and unconsensually hugged her and looked like tried to kiss her, which is textbook
assault. That is sexual assault. She was doing a meet and greet, and this one fan came up to her, and he tried to basically seduce her, like, try to get a big old smooch on the lips, Apparently, she had a bodyguard, but TwitchCon banned her bodyguard because he pushed a fan away that was getting far too close to her the last TwitchCon. But apparently Twitch, they were like, oh, we're gonna have armed security at every door and at all costs for everyone's safety. And then that happens, and a fan basically tries to, well, he does, assault her technically. Apparently TwitchCon, they said she couldn't bring her own bodyguard because of the fact that he put his hands on another person.
That's crazy, bro.
Who got too close to her. And then, since he wasn't here to protect her this time, now a fan got too close and did touch her. Assault her.
Assault. And it's very scary that it was able to happen so easily here. He was shoved off by a security guard.
Because he goes in, right? The guy, she's like, hello, right? She goes in and she tries to, she's like, oh, hello. She tries to get a handshake from him, right? Because, it's a meet and greet. You go over there, you say hi, you talk a little bit, and then you get the fuck out of there. But, from my understanding, he went up to her. He, completely didn't try to shake her hand. He went up to her and then just was like, try to give her a big old wet willy on the lips. So people were staring at, and I was it took the people there a couple of seconds to react, even though by the time he was going and trying to get all kissy on her, it already had happened. I don't believe that he did get the kiss, but the bodyguard, I believe, did notice within a few seconds afterwards and push him off of her. And if you see the video, the dude is tall as shit. The dude is he's much taller than she is. I don't know how tall she is, but the guy that threw himself onto her, is much taller than she is, and I assume weighs a lot more and is,
Then he just walked away.
Nobody,
Whoa.
And I don't know if he got punished for this. I don't know if he got in trouble. I have no idea what happened to the guy. I just know that they pushed him off of her and he walks away. I don't know if the bodyguard is holding him by his shirt like a principal would. I don't know what kind of punishment this guy has. I don't know if he will be. I assume he will, but maybe I could be wrong, because maybe she's just like, well, that happened and that's unfortunate. I don't know. He's light skinned. He's light skinned for sure. He's white Mexican, maybe within that margin somewhere in there.
That's crazy. Holy shit, what the fuck was that? What
the full clip goes on for about a minute and a half longer, but you've now seen the entire security presence here for the Imiru meet and greet. One person. One security guard.
Yep. Just one security guard. Even though Twitch clearly stated that they will have armed security protecting everyone. People are saying that this will probably be the last time that a lot of people will go to TwitchCon, especially a lot of Twitch users, because of this whole situation. I don't know what else happened. Apparently this was day one, by the way. This was apparently day one of TwitchCon. I don't know how long it goes. I don't know if it's a week, 2 weeks. I don't know if it's a couple of days, 3 days maybe. like a concert or something. I really don't know, but this was just day one of TwitchCon, and then like this whole shabacle just kind of happened, you know.
I have seen a stronger security presence at my dilapidated local Winn-Dixie. This is fucking crazy. One guy. And also worth mentioning, it's not Emiru's preferred bodyguard from what I understand.
And a security guard.
I don't know if she was. I don't know if there was a limited amount of security that she was allowed to have with her at the time. I'm not sure if she was only allowed to have one, or if this was like a security guard that Twitch gave her instead of her bringing one of her own security guards with her. Because again, from what I heard is that her security guard that she really likes, that is really protective, you know, as you're supposed to be, because that's what a security guard does, protect you. The one that she really likes was banned from TwitchCon, so he could not be there to protect her.
2 years ago, where there was a guy following me around TwitchCon, and he like asked him to stop multiple times. My guard asked him, and the guy wouldn't stop. So he grabbed the guy, but he didn't like hurt him. He was just holding the guy until like the con security game
saw
or
somebody
came. And then for some reason they're like, yeah, because your security guard.
He didn't hurt him in any physical way, but he held him. He held the guy that was like stalking her until security of TwitchCon got there to, I guess, escort him out. And you know, I mean that and apparently because of that action, he got banned.
Perma-banned from the venue forever. But he didn't even hit him or anything.
Shit,
He just
yeah.
like
So he's perma-banned. He can never come back. Okay. So that security guard can never come back to TwitchCon apparently. So
held him while they waited for like the police to come, and it was like my favorite security guard. I can't have him at TwitchCon anymore.
Now, as I was rendering this video, Emiru posted an update to everything to shed light on everything that happened. And this bodyguard you see push that guy is someone she hired. It's not her first round draft pick or anything. It is not her preferred bodyguard, but it's who
it's not her first draft.
she was allowed to bring. And she was surrounded is the word I'm using, very loosey-goosey. There was like a couple of other Twitch-provided Fiverr security drones elsewhere that just didn't react at all. The only one who did something was the one she hired. We're going to be going through her statement quite a bit here, but she's giving an update.
But it could have been worse, right? You know, because the guy could have had a weapon. He could have had a gun, a knife. He could have held her hostage. Like this, you know, this is a bad way of showing security. This is it's an open meet and greet. And again, this guy just could have had any form of weaponry on him. He could have had anything. And it was just, unfortunately, it was a slow act, but thankfully and fortunately, he had no weapons on him. I'm obviously shooken up by what have happened. It is not the first time that I've dealt with someone like this, but to tell you honestly, I am a lot more hurt and upset now by how Twitch handled it during and after the fact. Like I said, I don't understand how he was allowed to make it to me in the first place. The security in the clip who reacts is my security. It is my favorite and usually it's true. My favorite and usual security guard was banned for holding a stalker arm to bring him to the police at a past TwitchCon. However, there are at least 3 to 4 TwitchCon security staffs in the area who did not react and let the guy walk away, as you can see in the clip, since he doesn't even appear in the frame. A woman who was walking me away, her own personal manager, behind the booth. The only 2 people who were checking in on me and comforting me were me with her and my friends. None of the TwitchCon staff came to ask what had happened and if I was okay.
To let people know that she's okay and thankful for the outpouring of support.
Horrible fucking action from Twitch. Horrible action from Twitch. They showed zero regard for her, unfortunately. And her safety was in jeopardy. Her safety was in jeopardy with this. But again, fortunately, because the man had no weapons, because this was just it's not her first rodeo, but because this incident happened once here, I believe should recover, obviously.
The guy had crossed multiple barriers, even in front of other creators, to grab and try and kiss her, which he was unsuccessful at doing, thanks to being pushed off. She then says that she doesn't understand how he was allowed to get that far in the first place, and that the security that does react is her own, confirming that it's not her usual security guard since he was banned. She then says that there were 3 to 4 other TwitchCon security who didn't react and even let him walk away, which, again, is something you can confirm by watching the clip, that he just walks away completely
That is crazy. He just walks away. He just assaults a woman and is scot-free. I don't know if they ever followed up on this guy or not, but if he's just walking around out and about and no one knows it was him by his face not being directly in the camera.
The woman who was walking me away is also her own personal manager. It's not even event staff, which I thought it was event staff. Turns out it's not. The only 2 people who were checking on her and comforting her were her and her friend.
What happened?
I said they need to find him and lock him up.
I would agree that they need to. You deserve jail time for that. You deserve jail time. You assaulted a woman. If you assault anyone, you deserve jail time. You cannot go up to anybody and assault them just because it is your dream or pleasure. That is sick. That is sick.
Not even Twitch staff was coming to check on her. There's more in her statement we're going to get to in a moment, but I want to go in chunks here. So, I thought it was 1 security guard and then a couple of event staff that you could see in the clip. Turns out it's 1 security guard she brought, and then no event staff. It's just her manager and her friend. So where the fuck is TwitchCon security or staff at all here? They just let this guy walk up to her and did nothing, and even just let him get away after assaulting her too. Again, I still cannot even believe they banned the security guard that she wanted to bring and had brought in the past that did successfully prevent a potential threat from...
Ain't that crazy? Ain't that just crazy? It's her favorite security guard, who has stopped people like this guy before, is now banned and cannot protect her in this situation no longer. I assume that guy probably has to feel pretty bad about the situation, because it's you're getting paid to protect someone, and in an instance where you're one of these creators' favorite security guards, and knowing that the person that you're supposed to protect that you can't protect in a situation like this probably has to hurt you in some way, right? I'd have to assume you're probably sitting there and you're watching this, you're like, fuck, if only I could have been there, if only I could have, done something else. Like if you or one of your other friends were in a situation like this and you weren't there to protect them, I would assume the worst, right? Like, I wouldn't assume the worst, but I'd be like pretty pissed off that I couldn't do anything about it. Like, if I was there, I would have done this or that. But still.
Harming her. It's so fucked up, and I truly can't understand the thought process behind their decision to ban him in the first place. He did his job properly. He held the potential threat until authorities arrived. What else are you supposed to do? That's like the number one thing. You're supposed to stop the threat, and that's...
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know why they would ban him, though. It doesn't really make any sense. Isn't that the point of a security guard? I would get it if he had, like, a weapon, if he had, like, if he beat the guy near death or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd understand, but all he did was hold the guy until the police were able to take action, because I'm sure that if he hit the guy in that situation, he would have went to jail as well for assault. Or probably battery, right? I have to assume one of the two.
Sounds like exactly what he did here. I think maybe Twitch was concerned that he used excessive force or something, because he grabbed him and hit him with an atomic power bomb into a fucking tombstone pile driver and then a Frankensteiner on the way out. Like,
I have to believe that in any case, in any worst case scenario, if that is to happen to anyone that you know deeply, you would be affected. I feel like in most cases you would be affected. Like that bastard right there, he fucking put his hands on, my daughter, or my sister, my niece. Get that motherfucker hanging by a rope. He deserves jail time. I agree that he deserves jail time. You cannot do that, bro. You cannot just go up to anybody that you want and then put your hands on them in any way, shape, or form. Damn, didn't you learn in school to keep your hands to yourself? Apparently not.
What do they think happened there? For that bodyguard being banned, whether it was Twitch or the venue TwitchCon is held at, because of being good at his job, is just unacceptable. This guy walks past this entire line, literally just fucking fee-fi-fo-fums through the whole line here at the meet and greet, and assaults Imiru. Nobody stopped him when he was cutting through the line, and it wasn't until he had already assaulted Imiru that he got pushed off. And then he didn't even get stopped or anything by additional security, because there was only that one guy that was there as like a bodyguard. Like, I don't know, I would just kind of expect after a fucking assault just unfolded here, there would be a big response from the TwitchCon security personnel.
I also don't know if Twitch themselves have said anything about this. I have zero clue. I don't really keep up with like Twitch, what they say. I don't know if their personnel, like their security, or if like anyone who's in charge says anything about this, right? I don't know if any of them had spoken about this, but I have to believe that eventually they are gonna have to. This situation, they may have to say something, and if they don't, I think it's just gonna make them look bad regardless.
Nothing at all, just fucking crickets, just tumbleweed rolling through here. Like, he just walked away. Apparently he did get ID'd like after this happened later, because Twitch made a statement, which we'll go through in a minute, and it sounds like they ID'd the guy and everything. Because when you break it down, TwitchCon security literally did nothing. Not only did they not stop the guy before he assaulted Imiru, again...
I have to wonder, where was security during all this? Because from what everyone is saying is that the only security that was there was her own. So I have to wonder, where was Twitch's security? Like, I don't know if they were dilly-dallying somewhere else. I'm not sure. Like, were all these professional SWAT team members that apparently that they had, on the block? I don't know where anybody was. Because, if you're going to do a meet and greet, I'd assume you would want to have at least, one bodyguard with her and two standing outside making sure that people that are going up to her don't have any weapons or have no evil intent. Again, you don't always know what people's intentions are to do with somebody. Like, you never know who could really be a killer, right? Because they say there's a lot of killers, but you never really know, right? So I don't blame them for not knowing, but at the same time, you can't also put the blame on them for not having protection in the right spot.
It could have even been a murder or something if he had like a weapon or something. He was not stopped despite plenty of, ample opportunity for them to intervene. Not only did they not stop him, after it happened, they didn't even pursue him. The only one who acted at all, that one security guard, was not a TwitchCon security guard. It was someone Imiru hired, a bodyguard she hired. That was the only person that acted at all. And the only people that checked on Imiru were her team. No one on the TwitchCon event side of things, apparently, according to Imiru. So that...
I wonder if they're gonna ban this guy too from the event. But I have to assume if they do that, she's just gonna be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go to any more TwitchCons after this. Like, this was the last straw. This was no more. I don't want to be assaulted. This, and that, and the third. I have to assume, or I have to wonder if they're gonna ban this guy because he put his hands on another person, and apparently that's too much for Twitch right now.
That means at TwitchCon, the security didn't do anything at all, nor did the event staff do anything to even check on her after this happened. Holy shit. That is inexcusable. I've talked about events and stuff in the past. I've never been to TwitchCon. I have no plans of ever going to TwitchCon or anything even remotely similar to it, and I've always expressed, A, I don't think I'd have fun, and B, I'm always worried about events like that, like legitimate safety concerns. Ever since the Christina Grimmie tragedy, where she was murdered at a meet and greet, I just have a huge hesitation with this kind of thing. Because you never really know who's there and what security looks like. I know prior to TwitchCon, apparently there was a big emphasis on Twitch's side of beefing up their security. I'm not seeing that at all. The proof is not in the pudding here from what I'm seeing. It's extremely concerning that this creep was able to just walk up slowly, mind you. It's not like he charged the stage or something,
I don't know. Even for my own sake, once I get to this stage of like, being on the ladder, and I don't know if I would also ever attend a TwitchCon, even as a guest, or just to be there, just to be there. Like I really don't know, to be honest, because I don't, if it includes me having to fly somewhere, I'm not flying. And two, I just don't like leaving my crusty ass room. You pay for rent, so yeah, if I'm gonna pay for rent, I'm gonna fucking stay where I am.
With a fucking 4-second 40 where they couldn't respond in time, he slowly, calmly walked past everyone. Security, event staff, no one stopped him at all. Like, shit, I got stopped more often trying to go to a lacrosse party in college. Like, they were more vigilant about stopping people from getting into a fucking party, let alone, like, the actual safety of the guests here at this event. It is just crazy to me because this guy could have had a weapon. He absolutely could have had a weapon. Like, it is just dangerous. Yep. It is dangerous.
He could have had a gun, a knife. He could have held her hostage. In any way, shape, or form, if he did anything remotely bad, if anything went south from this point, Twitch would have been like they'd be like the people you'd point your finger at, and like for good reason, right? They said that their security was gonna be beefed up. They banned her previous security guard, and none of this really was there for her to start with. So she just... Unfortunate events that happened, but fortunately, she's all safe, and, can't really say much for the guy.
And it's a complete failure on Twitch's part here. Now, like I said, they did make a statement about this. The safety and security of all those attending TwitchCon is our highest priority. The behavior displayed by the individual involved in the incident yesterday involving a high-profile streamer was completely unacceptable and deeply upsetting. In line with existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement and event security were on site and responded to the incident. When?
Said immediately... Wait, let me make sure I read this right. Law enforcement and securities were on and responded to this incident. We immediately blocked this individual from returning to TwitchCon premises.
But I didn't see anyone stopping him at any point. We immediately blocked this individual from returning to the TwitchCon premises, and they are banned indefinitely from Twitch, both online and in-person events. We're coordinating with the impacted creators team, and per our standard protocols, continue to cooperate with any law enforcement investigations. We have increased security at the meet and greet attendee...
Wait. So all they did was just ban this guy from TwitchCon and then Twitch Online? Like, he's not going to face any legal action for this? Or are they saying that they're going to look into this deeper and find the guy and then feed him his legal vegetables, right? I don't know if that's what they're going to do. Or if they're like, or if they're just saying that we found the guy, we found what he looks like, but we're just gonna ban him, and that's it. Although I don't know. I don't know.
Check-in point, and we'll have additional security personnel surrounding participating streamers. If you've RSVP'd for a meet and greet, please note that we are unable to accommodate +1s for the remainder of the event. Twitch has zero tolerance for harassment or acts that inhibit the safety and security of our community. Like I said, based on their statement here, it sounds as though they ID'd the guy responsible for this assault here, mentioning that he's been banned on Twitch and from the events. It sounds like there's also going to be additional follow-ups, I believe. That's how it read to me.
If that's the case, then if they're going to follow up on it, then good by Twitch, but still an unacceptable situation.
The question begs to be asked, why wasn't that an emphasis beforehand? You're saying that safety was like your top priority, yet it's very clear, very evident in this clip.
How come the emphasis of having a stronger security and having protection for most of your guests wasn't present in that time? Why does it have to take for someone to get assaulted for you to take action? I don't know.
That there's not a lot of security there, so what are you doing about, like, safety? Like, well, I don't understand. If safety's such a high priority, where's security? Why, I don't know why it's so lackluster then if it's such a high priority. And again, this is like a huge streamer. Emiru is like one of the biggest streamers. What is security?
That is true. For her to have almost zero security, but to be pretty high on like the Twitch algorithm, it's a little weird, is it not? You would assume somebody with a high profile would have a decent bit of security, so an incident like this would not happen to begin with. But still, it happened, and Twitch's security was gone, never really to be seen, and only taking action after the situation had already taken place.
Security look like for streamers that aren't her size? I genuinely have no idea. It's a legitimate question I'm asking because, again, Emiru is like one of the biggest streamers, and TwitchCon didn't have like any adequate security presence at her meet and greet. What does it look like for a smaller streamer doing a meet and greet? Did they provide anything at all to them? And also...
Yeah. What about the smaller creators? Did they get any security? Did Twitch provide their own security for these people who may or may have not built their own form of security? I don't know. It's a question that only the universe can answer and not me. This is just a question that I have zero idea of.
What they do provide is basically anyway, nothing. The security didn't act at all here. So now let's go back to Emiru's statement because she says something very interesting here about Twitch's statement. In Twitch's statement, they said that the guy was immediately caught and detained. Sorry, but that is a blatant lie. He was allowed to walk.
Thank you guys again. Sorry for all of you to see. This is definitely my last Twitch. Yeah. See? This is definitely my last TwitchCon, and it has saddened me to say that as of 10 years off and on attendee of TwitchCon, I think other creators should seriously consider not attending in the future. I do not feel cared for or protected, even bringing my own security and staff. I can't imagine how creators without these options would feel. Stay safe, y'all. Everything is going to be okay. Wow.
Walk away from my meet and greet, and I didn't hear he was caught until hours after he attacked me, and it felt like this only happened because of my manager pressing for it, not because TwitchCon staff present thought it was a big deal.
Really? Wow. So TwitchCon didn't believe that the situation was that dire for them to follow up. It was only until Emiru's manager had pressed Twitch enough for them to have any backlash on this. But now, because of the situation, now they have even more backlash.
She mentions there's more she wants to talk about on it, but will save it for stream. She then goes on to thank people for the support and confirms that this will be her last TwitchCon, which I think is completely understandable. I think other creators should seriously consider not attending in the future. I did not feel cared for or protected, even bringing my own security and staff. I can't imagine how creators without those options would feel. So according...
A lot of people are saying that this will be Twitch's last TwitchCon. That this will be the last one that everyone, like all the big creators, are like going to attend. This is the last one. After this, people are like, no more. No more after this. I cannot fathom this. I can't. And I hear a lot of people saying that this is going to be the last TwitchCon ever. That I cannot say because, the ever-growing algorithm between new creators is always big. So they can always have new faces show up, but still, I don't think a lot of creators already go to TwitchCon as it is. I don't know how big TwitchCon actually is. I really don't know.
According to Emiru's statement here, she believes that the guy wasn't like immediately caught and ID'd by TwitchCon staff or anything like that. And in fact, it wasn't until her manager pressed them for action that they did anything at all. That's unhinged. They didn't want to, jump into action after a fucking assault just took place? I just don't get it. That's completely unhinged. It almost feels like maybe they're more angry about Emiru's bodyguard there shoving the guy. Like maybe they're thinking about banning him from...
Yeah, I said that, but still, assault is assault regardless of who the person is. And the fact that they didn't believe that this attack on her was that serious should really tell you a lot about Twitch's safety to begin with.
Twitch events in the future or something. Like, it doesn't seem like their priority is safety. If they were going to just let this guy walk away until Emiru's manager had to force their hand to do something, this is just not a safe environment. And this isn't a new criticism of TwitchCon. This has been consistently something that people have spoken out about for years with TwitchCon.
I do hope that Twitch does follow up on this guy, this character, this individual, and I hope that justice is served for her, because I don't believe that anyone who was assaulted should have to just let their assaulter run free and in the wild as such in this instance here. And in the past, apparently so. So I do hope that Twitch does follow up on this case, and I hope that the guy does get punished, but I can't say that, you know, if they actually do, or if this is just a bunch of shilly-shally dilly-dally.
Like, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the horror stories that have been reported numerous times in the past at previous TwitchCons about, like, drink spiking.
That's another reason why I don't why I don't want to go to bars to begin with. I'd rather be more content with drinking at home than going to a bar, because if someone is to spike my drink, knock me unconscious, take me to the back alley, and take my butt, I don't know how I'd feel about that, really. And I don't think anyone would feel great about that instance. I've always feared going out to like a bar, because I would fear that somebody would want to spike my drink and put acid or cyanide or pills to knock you out.
To assure the community that, you know, they're really taking security seriously this time around. This time, you know, it's fucking locked down. There's going to be no issues. And like clockwork, there's always seemingly some kind of big security concern or something that arises at TwitchCon. It's just, I don't understand how they're not doing anything to, like, remedy it. Even in this, which is, again, supposed to be like their big year of security.
Yeah. Everyone before this even thing went down, before any of this went down, Twitch's whole motto, right, before this anything, was security. And you would assume, right, like, because of all this commotion and hullabaloo that they were talking about was said and done, like, you would assume that security, she probably even assumed herself, like, hey, if this, you know, maybe they are actually, you know, working on security, and if they don't, then this would definitely be my last year on TwitchCon. And I had to assume that that was what happened, and now it's most definitely going to be her last. And for good, you know, a good thing on her for, you know, saying like, hey, I'm done. She's been 10 years is a long time for her to be off and on with it. But, you know, good for her for just being like, hey, this is the last one. I appreciate all the love and support, but I'm out.
How seriously they're taking it, how seriously they're going to take it, and then day one of TwitchCon, Emiru gets assaulted. And then in this clip, it really seems like there's not a lot of security there. And if there is, like, off camera, a bunch of security, they're not very efficacious. They're not very good at stopping a legitimate threat.
That is a threat. Like, that is a crazy threat. To be assaulted is a crazy threat. No one wants that for them to happen to anybody. Nobody wants that to happen to anyone. And again, she's a really big person on Twitch. I assume she has like millions and millions of followers and lots of viewers. And this just happens to fall under that like pattern of that parasocial, you know, relationship between the creator and the viewer. And it happens. Unfortunately, it does take place. And I think as much as people don't want it to happen, it is, you know.
Like I said, this guy's intentions could have been to murder Emiru here. He could have had a weapon, and he wasn't even stopped. He got all the way to her and assaulted her before he was finally shoved off. Like, there is a real problem. And according to Emiru, it's actually even worse than that on the TwitchCon security side, where they didn't even, like, want to go after the guy until they were forced to by Emiru's team pressing them for it. So not...
How could you not want to press the guy who assaulted one of your workers? How could you not want to? Like, where do you get off on that? Where do they believe that what they did there was the correct action to take place? Well, no one got hurt, right? done case. Just leave him be. It was only until her manager had said something, and they were forced upon their own hand to take action upon this guy and work, with their security to catch him, ID him, and then ban him afterwards.
Not only did the assault happen under their watch, where they had ample chances to stop that guy, but none of the handful of security that was around intervened in any way, and then didn't do anything to pursue the criminal. That's a crime. Like, that's a crime, and they were just gonna let him get away with that. Who mentions that event staff didn't, like, check on her or anything? What you saw was her team checking on her and, making sure everything's okay. So, what is TwitchCon, like, where are the event staff and security then? So they don't even check on someone who was just assaulted? They don't even go and see, like, what just happened? Like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Nothing at all?
Today, I'm sure that today must have been, like, the second day for TwitchCon, so I doubt that a lot of, like, criminal activity had to have taken place because of this. So TwitchCon, I have to assume after this action, had to be on high alert, because if anyone else got harmed or assaulted in this same location, I'd have to assume that they would probably shut things down. They'd be like, all right, look, too many people are getting hurt, too many people are getting assaulted, too much, batteries being taken place, and too much calamity is taken on. So they just have to shut things down, and I have to, I'm hoping that after this, they did lock things down, and they were, their security was definitely on their ass for this shit.
Like, that's crazy. It does not feel like safety is a huge priority at TwitchCon. What happened to Emiru is terrible, and it shouldn't have happened at all. It shouldn't happen to her or anybody attending TwitchCon. Another thing I want to briefly mention here. Apparently, Emiru didn't even want to do the meet and greet. She was obligated to in order to keep her show.
So I had to...
Yeah. So that too. Apparently, she did not even want to do this. Apparently, she didn't even want to do a meet and greet. But Twitch forced her upon her own hand because she has a show going on. And the only way to keep that show going is if she agreed to do the meet and greet. And that's crazy. Because if she was like, no, never mind, then none of this would have taken place. Or, like, man, I don't know where her show is. I don't watch it. I don't know anything about it. I really don't watch a lot of people, but from what I understand, this is what she wanted to do before all that had taken place.
I cancel my meet and greet because of the stuff, but in order to, I can't cancel my meet and greet and not cancel her show because of the fact that the reason I cancel my meet and greet is I don't want to be in the same place for 2 hours because of people being weird.
Okay.
And then I'm under contract with them, so I can't cancel one and not cancel the other.
Interesting. Oh.
So I'm sorry.
It's kind of confusing. I don't really know how that works. So she can't cancel both, so she either has to cancel her show or the meet and greet. This one right here.
I mean, because I wanted to keep my show. Surely it'll be fine.
I'm sorry, Emmy.
I'm sure everyone will be nice.
It sounds like it was a contractual obligation that if Emiru wanted to keep that show, she would have to do this meet and greet, which is something it doesn't seem like she wanted to do, but was trying.
It doesn't seem like any of them really wanted to do a meet and greet to begin with. I don't think any of them wanted to, but it seems like it was forced upon all their hands, and you don't go to the meet and greet, you don't get your show. You don't get to continue. That's your series end. That's the finale.
To approach it with optimism about people, being nice and not being weird. Unfortunately, that's just not how things panned out. And it's crazy. She didn't even want to do this meet and greet. It's something that it seems Twitch was requiring her to do in order to keep the other thing that she actually did want unrelated to the meet and greet. So she decides to oblige and do this meet and greet. And Twitch doesn't even do the bare minimum of giving her adequate security to protect her.
It was a lose-lose situation for her. Like, in any way, shape, or form that you put this in, it was a lose-lose. She wanted her show. TwitchCon was coming. They forced her. She didn't want to. And because she wanted her show to continue, this all came down and played the way that it played in. And for Twitch to have little to any control over their security and not even pursuing the guy until her own manager was taken into this and all of this which had taken place. It's unfortunate. All I can really say is that I'm glad that she's doing. I'm glad that she's feeling better about this. I'm sure she's still shooken up because I have to assume anyone who is assaulted isn't going to immediately recover. But I think she's doing better now that she's probably out of there. So good on her and good for her to say that this is the last time that she'll do this TwitchCon event because she clearly doesn't want to anymore. That's that.